Loading.
Hello and welcome. This is the chapel service for CCWH, the Community Chapel for Holistic Healing, and I'm Reverend Kelly Wilk. We are recording this service, just so you know. We are a non-denominational spiritual fellowship founded in 1977 by Michelle Lusan. Now, she was guided by a vision of Swami Sivananda to establish a church in the greater Washington, D.C. area to spread light to our nation's capital. And I'd like to thank you all for being part of that light now. My name is Kelly Wilk. I studied religion at Dartmouth College, and I later studied at New College Divinity School. I was ordained in CCWH's ministerial program in 2009. And I did that after suffering a chronic illness. And I really found that the light, the support, the fellowship I found at CCWH helped guide me on my healing journey. So tonight I'm going to be speaking about energy maintenance and positivity. And we can go ahead and begin tonight's service with a prayer that's narrated by our dear pastor, Reverend Mary Huber.
Divine Creator, we ask that the light of highest awareness fill the minds and hearts of those who are open to your light. We ask that they be assisted and strengthened in their resolve to achieve peace using peaceful means. May their minds, their hearts, and their actions reflect the divine will to good for all. Comfort, strengthen, and support those who are in a difficult situation in their mind, body, or spirit. Bring confidence to them that your divine hand is at work in their life. Amen.
Thank you for that prayer, Mary. And we're going to continue on opening this service with our CCWH affirmations. These were all channeled by our founder, Reverend Michelle Lusan. And we'll begin with the faith affirmation. I believe in the spiritual existence of myself as a perfect image of the divine creator. In this reflection that is my physical embodiment, I have faith in the supreme guidance of my soul for my balance, my needs, and my opportunities. Outside of myself, there are also perfect images, and nothing can delude my thinking otherwise. The hope affirmation, acknowledging my faith in the omnipresence of my divinity, I hope for realization, awareness, and acknowledgement of the existence of the great I am within myself. And the charity affirmation, in understanding faith, in knowing hope, I pledge my actions, my desires, and my thoughts to the performances of myself on the physical planes of the earth, to honor, to love, and to enlighten all that is a reflection of the divine outside myself, so that my perfection is imaged back to my Creator. So help me God. Now, tonight's topic is about energy maintenance and how to keep our energy field strong and sure so we can remain really anchored in creator light. Because when we are operating from this spot of light, we can spread light to others more readily. Now, there are practical, everyday aspects to this almost, along with aspects that are a bit more cerebral and esoteric. So I kind of feel we must begin by remembering on a very basic level, the best way to maintain one's energy field is through positivity. And this is not merely being optimistic, though certainly that helps, but keeping in mind that there is a higher plan, a higher purpose, and it's being executed not sometimes, not every now and then, but all the time. I'll admit that much of the time this seems somewhat unbelievable, but believe it, I do. And one way that I found it's helpful to maintain this belief is with this following practice that I'm going to share with you that's very simple. And you basically imagine yourself somewhere outside, nice and relaxed. It can be just about any outdoor setting you choose. And find a place in this natural setting and kind of go over it. Kind of find some open area, and you can begin to look around and see if in this nice open natural area you can locate in your mind's eye, you can locate an insect, something very tiny. And you can notice, when you're looking down from your lofty state, they seem very small, very tiny, very insignificant in many ways. But they're alive, they're working hard. These little insects are going about their daily activities. And though small, there are a great many of them, and they are integral to life on the great planet we live on. So we can see that even though these things look small, even though the actions of these tiny, tiny beings seem slight, they really are absolutely required. Now, the flip side of this meditation is that you find yourself gazing up at the sky and see if you can picture yourself flying up higher and higher, like a bird perhaps, rising higher up in the sky. Maybe you're soaring, maybe you find yourself perched on a tree limb, but look around, look down, and see what you see from this higher vantage point, right? How different do things appear? How different does your home, perhaps, if you're looking down on your home, look, or the system of streets? How do these things seem different if they're viewed from a distance? So in this sort of brief visualization, we're playing with ideas of size, and scope, and we can find peace in creating some distance. And we can also find importance in attuning to even very minute details. And that's the sort of peace you can get from this practice. It's a nice study in perspective, I find. So in the Edgar Cayce primer, Cayce says the soul, being divine, participates in the most essential qualities of the divine, which are the continuity of life and awareness. As co-creators with God, we are destined to participate in ever-growing, ever more meaningful, exciting, creative expressions. End quote. So that is very optimistic and empowering and uplifting. We are reminded that the divine is always with us. Indeed, the divine is in us, a part of us. We join with God in creating reality. And we can keep giving, keep creating, keep expressing ourselves in a way that promotes life and goodness and love. Now, I know this is not news to folks here, it's just a reminder. For most of us, we really do know this. In fact, many of you here, many of you listening to this, are no doubt healers, intuitives, servants of the light, right? Keepers of light, earth angels. You no doubt are often giving and sharing and helping others, perhaps professionally, perhaps personally, perhaps both. It's vital then for all earth angels, like you, like me, to practice adequate self-care and energy maintenance. Now, there are basic energy practices that can be done to kind of bolster one's energy. And these are very widely practiced, and they include, the basics, things like grounding, centering, clearing, connecting with source. I do talk some about how I like to go about this in some other recordings and classes that CCWH has. And there's also extensive information about these subjects available online and in print. But remember, anywhere, at any time, you can engage in small, kind of miniature energy healings or energy practices. And one of my favorites, which has been mentioned some on Witch Talk, is the simple act of swirling your finger, or if you have it, perhaps a pendulum or a necklace or a set of keys, counterclockwise, and you're clearing out old energy as you do this. And then once that feels complete, can do this a little while longer, maybe. Feels nice. Okay, once that feels complete, you can start going clockwise. And this is helping you to bring powerful, positive energy in to whatever space you are in currently. And again, this is something you can do, you don't have to enter a big meditative state. You can do it very unobtrusively. However it works for you at the time. It's something that can be done in most places, in most situations, which makes it a very nice, very effective practice. And I found, much to my delight, that this can even become sort of a walking meditation. I recently started walking on a track, and I found that I could turn this very simple energy practice into a whole sort of larger scale energy practice that can be undertaken on my walks. Because if I'm walking around the track, I can start by going counterclockwise, clearing out some energy, and move clockwise to bring the more positive energy in. It's just very, very nice. And again, very diverse in terms of how and when it can be used. So Michelle Dupre talks about some more techniques that are greatly beneficial to preserving positive energy in her book, which is entitled The Clairvoyant Path. If any of you are looking for a good next book to read on intuitive practices, I would recommend that one. So some of the techniques she mentions are linked in many ways to certain meditative and Buddhist practices, and involve maintaining some level of calm, some level of distance when interacting. And Michelle Dupre's practices involve cultivating a sense of detachment and amusement when something or someone difficult and unexpected arises. So this reminds me of something one of my own dear intuitive teachers used to reassure me. She used to say, remember, nothing personal is going on here. So going back to Michelle's technique, it's a very accessible one, and it involves setting your crown chakra to neutrality and amusement, depending on your preferences. So you do not need to be in a meditative state to start this. It does take a few minutes initially to set up, but after that, it can be done almost immediately. And basically, you try to ground and center to start, activate your chakras, and bring your focus to your crown. And then as you're focusing on your crown chakra, visualize it as a halo over your head. And now sort of experiment a bit with putting different colors, just one at a time, to your crown chakra. Visualize your halo being made up of one color. Really see it permeating that halo. And then go ahead and make a decision to temporarily set your crown to this color, whatever color it may be that you choose. And sort of impassively, without judgment, take note of how your body, how your emotions respond to having this color set in your crown. And after you go through a few colors, see if you can relax and visualize your crown chakra as a halo again, and decide which color represents neutrality to you. Go with whatever your first thought is, and it's okay. If you change your mind later, you can change it later, but for now, just go with whatever one that first came to you. Now go ahead and visualize whatever color represents amusement to you. Again, make kind of a snap decision and give an internal command to, quote, set your crown chakra with these colors, these energies. And this way, you should have these overarching feelings of detachment, of amusement, set with your crown, and this should aid you in your interactions with others. If you choose at a later date to reset these colors, that's fine. You're certainly able to do that. That's okay. It's not something that has to stay set this way, of course, but it's an interesting practice and one that I think works well. Michelle has a beautiful quote that she goes on to say, which is, "We cannot expect others to change to fit our needs, but we can alter the perceptions of our need by raising our own vibrations. We choose our responses and can control how experiences affect us," which is very true and very applicable to maintaining positivity and higher vibrations. Excuse Excuse me, my dog's making some noise. So another truth that is always there, but can easily be forgotten in times of negativity, is that we ourselves are part of God. Not only that, our souls are an aspect of the divine that remains the same, no matter how much change, no matter how much busyness surrounds us. We can use this, our soul, our aspect of the eternal divine, to reach an unassailable state of calm. So one guru who I think teaches this very, very beautifully was a teacher in the 1920s. And she was a mystic in India from Bangladesh, and her name was Anandamaya Ma. She was admired by Yogananda, the author of Autobiography of a Yogi, and he and others asked how could she achieve meditative states and states of bliss so readily. And her response was pretty simple, as well as being very profound. And she said she could remember the eternal, never-ending part of her. So the way she put it was, she said, I knew before I was born, I knew my soul then, it was my soul. I knew my soul as a child, it was that same soul. I know my soul now, and I know after I die, my soul will still be present. She was really able to connect in a deep way to this eternal aspect of God. And this brought her calm, even beyond calm. It brought her to a state of joy, and she became known as the joy-permeated mother. Because when you really do connect, when you really do acknowledge that a part of you is eternal and can never change, it is deeply, deeply reassuring. Deeply reassuring. And that is the case for every one of us. We all have that eternal aspect of the divine. So just to think about that, to think, no matter what change occurs, no matter what busyness is happening around us, we can connect to that eternal. That really will bring you the peace that surpasses all understanding. Another thing I think is essential to keeping in mind when we're trying to maintain our energy is to know that we are not alone. Not only are there many groups like CCWH out there to support people in their healing and intuitive work, but it's also worth keeping in mind that we have many, many, many beings in the realm of spirit that are always ready to aid us. These can come in many forms. They can be angels, light beings, elemental beings, spirit guides. You can have ancestor spirits, many, many beings that are available and would love to aid us in our work, especially when we're helping others, especially when we are in line with the light. So as part of this, realizing that we're not alone, that we can always ask for aid, I wanted to walk through this practice that involves activating your angel or angelic chakra. And this practice comes from the work of Hazel Raven. She does a lot of angelology. Angelology? That's better. And she has many beautiful books out there, including one entitled The Secrets of Angel Healing. And she walks through this practice of activating one's angelic chakra. It involves, cleansing and purifying oneself, getting a little bit clear in the energy sense, relaxing our bodies. And then you go ahead and you invite the presence of your guardian angel using this invocation. I now invoke my guardian angel to activate my angelic chakra for my conscious connection to the angelic realms of love, light, and healing. And now we're going to just let beautiful angelic light pour into our bodies, starting with, you guessed it, the crown chakra. And you feel it cleansing, nurturing, enlightening every cell, every fiber of our beings with just pure consciousness, pure unconditional love. We find ourselves again in this relaxed state. And every time you inhale, you're breathing in blessings and healing. And every time you exhale, you're cleansing your body. And as we continue this practice, we can really feel this very pure, very high energy coursing through our bodies, this energy of angelic blessing. And you just take a moment and you let this very beautiful angelic energy just bathe us internally, physically, emotionally, and externally, clearing, cleansing, enlivening all of our subtle bodies. And once we spend a moment in that beautiful energy, we then are aware that our dear angel guardian has come nearer to us. And we feel them drawing closer and closer. And you may become aware of this presence in different ways. Perhaps you hear sounds. Perhaps you feel warmth or an embrace. You see a flutter of wings. But you may feel the energy work being done on your angelic chakra. And Hazel Raven describes this chakra as being kind of at the very top of your forehead, so above the third eye. And she even goes so far as to refer to it as the fifth eye. So you can really feel your angel working on opening up this area. And once this is done, once this is complete, you may find yourself with a better understanding and ability to speak with, connect with, and just in general be aware of the angelic realms. So thank you all for listening. I appreciate you being here. And I appreciate you listening to some information about how we can stay positive, keep our energy up. I'd like to end with a prayer by Lorna Byrne. She wrote a couple great books about her experience as an intuitive and her abilities with angels. And she has a lovely prayer that she channeled from Angel Michael. And it goes like this. It's the prayer of thy healing angels. Pour out thy healing angels, thy heavenly host upon me and upon those that I love. Let me feel the beam of thy healing angels upon me, the light of your healing hands. I will let thy healing begin, whatever way God grants it. Amen. And with that, I'd like to close my talk and move into a short meditation, which is also centered around clearing and on asking for some aid from the angelic realms. For this meditation, we're going to be calling on the Archangel Seraphiel, who is an archangel very deeply associated with clearing. So first, we're going to say that name if we can, silently or aloud, Seraphiel. We're going to ask for a sphere of beautiful cosmic light. It's going to be coming down through the top of our heads into the crown chakra, flooding it with light. You go ahead and you can do this in your mind's eye or using your actual hands, but you can sort of move your hands down yourself, knowing that you're cleansing your aura, kind of using these gentle sweeping movements, starting up with the crown and moving downwards towards the third eye, down and down each of our chakras. As we do this, moving this energy down, we're also going to ask that these chakras be blessed and filled with angelic light. And after we've moved some cleansing energy down our bodies, we move down our legs into our feet. And we're going to be very sure that we also cleanse the area we are standing or sitting on. We can go ahead and connect with the consciousness of the earth for a moment and ask for a blessing to be placed on this, our connection with earth. So now we've been cleansed, feeling the energy being moved from crown to earth. And we find ourselves reaching up again, stretching upwards. And at the same time, we become aware of angelic hands reaching down to meet us. This, the seraphim, and some other beings of light are placing their hands in our hands. At this time, you may wish to ask for a blessing to be placed on your hands to empower your own angelic therapy work, your own work with angels. And as this blessing comes to us, we take some moments to focus on the slow and steady beating of our hearts. Once that process seems complete, we'll take a moment to feel as though angelic wings are wrapped around us. And we really take some time to rest here in this beautiful, beautiful place of angelic support and guidance. I'd like to thank you for taking this meditative journey with me. And I'd like to thank the angelic beings that were here aiding us in this clearing, this activation, this meditation. Thank you. And I also hope that my dog chewing their bone wasn't quite as loud as it sounded to me. Wasn't quite as loud to you all.
We loved it.
Really? Does it sound loud? My gosh. She was enjoying herself. So, again, thank you for being here. And I want to remind you all that I'm sure you know, CCWH is a non-denominational spiritual fellowship run entirely by volunteers. If you would like to contact us, you can email info, I-N-F-O, at ccwh.com. If you do feel moved to make a donation, we would greatly appreciate it. You can do so at our website, which is ccwh.com. You can click on Make a Donation. We thank you. All donations are tax deductible. And it was lovely to have you here. We're going to end our service, with the song Let There Be Peace on Earth, with CCWH's own twist on the lyrics.